all wonder sometimes how our lives might be if things had gone a different direction somewhere in the past. But it's not healthy to dwell on the wouldas, couldas, and the might have beens. But it is a lot of fun to mock Hillary Clinton for doing so. For some reason, she just decided to read aloud the drafted victory speech that she planned to give after the 2016 presidential election. Here's the part where she imagines telling her mother about her incredible achievement.
I dream of going up to her and sitting down next to her, taking her in my arms and saying, "Look at me, listen to me. You will survive. You will have a good family of your own and 3 children. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States."
Why would somebody do that to themselves? Quite a different tone from when she read an excerpt from Michael Wolff's political gossip book about Donald Trump at the Grammys a few years ago. I remember that. Only liberals could ruin a music award show by inviting that shrill witch. But Hillary's not the only one reading things this week. Old Joe made an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on Friday, virtually, which was strange. Since most of the lockdowns have ended and Old Joe and Jimmy are fully vaccinated, why wouldn't he show up in person? Well, the answer is because it would be obvious that he was using note cards, which he can be seen fiddling with here. I'm glad he had a good time though, but I'm sure that he thought he was talking with Johnny Carson. He's aging like milk, and he pulled another Ron Burgundy this week, reading directly from the teleprompter notes that are just supposed to cue him about what's going on that aren't supposed to actually be read.
At the end of the day, we've always found ways to come together. We can find that unity again. Then the message said, end of message.
Of course, the clip went viral on social media, causing Snopes to step in and have to fact-check it. Did Biden read end of message during Bob Dole tribute? Right-leaning critics of the president seized upon what appeared to be an unfortunate mistake during a speech in December 2021. Instead of admitting the obvious that the allegation is true, after Snopes' investigation, they decided to render the verdict of correct attribution. They can't even bring themselves to admit that Old Joe is an embarrassment. With Christmas just around the corner, there's more talk about masks, social distancing, and whether or not it's okay to have your unvaccinated relatives over for dinner. New York City Mayor and major buffoon Bill de Blasio is defending his tyrannical vaccine passports that are required in order to go out to eat in the city. Is it unfortunate that so many on the far right are hostile to the idea that vaccines work? Yes, it is. Is that going to stop me from taking action, from keeping our community safe? Not a chance. You're not supposed to say out loud what I'm gonna say out loud because in these Orwellian times, facts and statistics are offensive and hateful. But the group of Americans that is the most unvaccinated isn't the far right. It's black people. Black people like Comedy Central's Trevor Noah, who just said this.
So, on the one hand, almost all the Omicron cases have been mild so far. But on the other hand, the guy who stands to gain millions of dollars from new vaccines says we need new vaccines. If we don't make a new vaccine, this disease could be with us forever. Sorry, I was thinking of something else.
If any conservative dared say that out loud on TV or on social media, they would immediately be branded an anti-vax conspiracy theorist, and those posts would be taken down. But Trevor has liberal privilege. He was scolded, however, so I'm sure that's the last we'll be hearing from him about that. And to be clear, I'm not trying to discourage people from taking the vaccine. I'm not encouraging it either. I don't give medical advice one way or another. As a media analyst, I just show the hypocrites, flip-floppers, and liars, and half the time these supposed experts don't know what the heck they're talking about. Remember when Dr. Fauci was against masks? This garden gnome who looks like Dr. Klopek, who's perjured himself, is who we're supposed to rely on to get accurate medical advice? Of course, you can't disagree with anything he says on the big brand name tech platforms or you'll get censored. Meanwhile, Facebook continues to beg the government to censor everybody on all platforms under the guise of regulation.
My name is Aaron. I've been with Facebook for 2 years now. I'm a product policy manager.
We have a lot of responsibility, especially on the content.
There's very little agreement whether we should be leaving more content up, taking more content down. With any particular rule or issue that we're looking at, we're not going to make everybody happy. Without regulation, we're really navigating that space as best we can. I think a standardized approach would help platforms all across the board define what the bounds of those rules should be.
Facebook is literally paying money to run ads on television, trying to convince people to pressure the government to demand regulation of all social media. They're doing this in coordination with their Democrat friends in Congress, because if they can get Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act amended and censor all platforms, then you won't be able to speak freely on places like Gab, Parler, and Telegram. And I got an update for you on the Fox News Christmas tree fire. I'm sure you heard about some psycho lit the Christmas tree on fire outside of their headquarters in New York. CNN is upset that Fox News and half the country is upset about it, and then tied it to, wait for it,
at Fox, when the target is a Christmas tree at their workplace, it is a sacrilege. But when the target is the seat of American democracy, it's not. Just imagine if Fox hosts could muster for an armed attack on the Capitol the same outrage that they did for their Christmas tree.
Only someone with stage 4 liberalism could possibly link the Fox News Christmas tree fire with January 6th. But congratulations, CNN, you did it. But speaking of Christmas, there's only a couple days left for you to order my shirts from markdice.com and get them in time. This isn't like Amazon Prime where you can just order anything you want and get it delivered the next day. We gotta determine how many orders we get and then get the shirts printed and shipped out, and there might be delivery bottlenecks and supply chain issues, so you got a couple days left, but be sure to get your orders in today. At this point, because you're a slacker, you gotta pay for rush shipping, which is an extra $6, but I'll give you a promo code for 20% off of anything from the store, which will pretty much completely offset that. So now is the time to get your Let's Go Brandon shirt, your F. Joe Biden shirt, wanna buy a vowel, your Arrest Dr. Fauci shirt, or any of my awesome designs. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Enter the promo code SLACKER at the checkout to save 20% off and check them out.